Hey guys, Zinno coming up on A to Z. We make one more step towards Desmond Ridder with an interesting mock draft about the Falcons' future as well. The Hawks are disgusting, and maybe the Braves should make a change. That's next on A to Z.
This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta.
How did we get here? If you're not the number one pick, guess what? You have no guarantee. That's where you are.
And it starts.
Does that make me a genius? Yes.
Now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you I love being tempted. Welcome in. We are live. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. Give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On ATL. Of course, I'm at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel as my hamster fell off the wheel. And make sure you guys check us out on Roku TV, however you get your Roku TV on the Amazon Fire Stick. Download the Roku TV app and get Locked On Sports Atlanta every single day. A lot to get to. The Hawks were absolutely pathetic last night, and we have to discuss what is happening right now to this team. We'll do that in just a moment, but I needed to start with the Falcons today because, just a couple of things. One, we hear yesterday Marcus Mariota is headed for surgery. So still, I don't know that it makes any of this better. Maybe it feels like it still kind of feels like Marcus quit on everybody when he didn't get his way. When he was no longer the starter, he decided to take his ball and go home. And it still feels a little bit like it's a little shady about the timing of everything when he's never been on the injury report all year long. And he's talked about, I mean, look, a lot of football players don't say anything when they're hurt and they tough it out and we reward them for it and we think they're great for it. But, at the end of the day, um, those players who do that are starters. They don't say they get hurt after they get benched. And so that's a little bit of a kind of just, flag that this might not be all in the up and up for Marcus. And I don't want to make any bad assumptions about him. I think Marcus is at least what I've met of him and talked to him. He's a very incredibly nice guy. And I don't want to speak badly of him, but it just doesn't all add up. Let's just say that much. All right. We are looking at a situation, as I talked about yesterday, that, however Desmond Ridder plays over the next 4 games could very well decide the draft strategy of the Falcons in the future. And while I'm not 100% sure that I am comfortable with that, and look, I don't think there's any right answer to it, right? There's only speculation and second guessing. That's it. I mean, if the Falcons want to stay with Desmond Ridder and it doesn't work out, we'll second guess it and say we should have taken a quarterback in the draft. And if they take a quarterback in the draft, and the one they take doesn't work out, we'll say, why don't we stick with Ridder? And he probably ends up somewhere else and he might play well. And all of a sudden we're doing this back and forth. So, these decisions aren't easy and they're always wrought with the side of second guessing. And that's just is what it is. However, it's interesting that they started doing this, but Todd McShay of ESPN put out his first mock draft. And what I saw for the Falcons was very, very appetizing. And they did this based off of the current records, not the ones you're going to see at the end of the season. Excuse me. It's one of those things where they're kind of just spitballing that everybody in the position they're in will stay in the position in. So the Texans get the number 1 draft pick. They get Bryce Young. The Seahawks get the 2nd draft pick from Denver. They take Jalen Carter. The Chicago Bears get their own 3rd draft pick. They take Will Anderson. The Lions get their pick from the Rams. They take C.J. Stroud. The Eagles get their pick from New Orleans, and they take Bijan Robinson, which I know my good friend Aaron, dear Lord, Aaron Freeman, my hamster fell off the wheel again. Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons got like a Bijan Robinson man crush. He would be very, very upset if that happened and they took him the pick before the Falcons, who pick at number 6 in this mock draft. And the Falcons take, you ready, folks? Because I love this. Quarterback Will Levis from Kentucky. Now, when I watch Will Levis and what I think of Will Levis and what he's going to be, and I know a lot of people will say, no way, he had a bad year this year, blah, 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 blah. Guys, that has nothing to do with it. It honestly doesn't. You know how many quarterbacks who get drafted in college have bad years? Andrew Luck didn't have a great year or Heisman stats when he was drafted number one overall. He had really good stats at Stanford, but you know, he didn't even. I don't even think he got invited to the Heisman that year. But regardless, my point simply is that there's, Drew Brees played for Purdue for crying out loud. So like, don't worry about what you saw on the field in wins and losses with Kentucky. When I think about Will Levis, who probably has the strongest arm in this draft class, um, which is something Arthur Smith really, really values. Uh, what I see right off the top of my head is Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee with Arthur Smith. Okay, think about this. He's 232 pounds, big, he's really tall, and he's got a strong arm, and he can run. He's mobile. I mean, this is everything Arthur Smith I think wants in a quarterback. And all I can envision is what I saw from that Tennessee offense in 2019 and 2020 when they were just like nearly unstoppable. Now, granted, again, they had Derrick Henry there as well, but still, this is a Falcons team that has a strong run game. And while Levis needs some developing along the way, he has the coach to help him do it, and he's got a run game to help him do it. And think about this, because this is something that's going to really decide the short and long term future of the Falcons and the other three teams in the NFC South right now. All of them, all three of them, have no idea what their quarterback situation looks like for next year. As we sit here right now today, they have no idea what their quarterback situation looks like next year. None. Are the Saints sticking with Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston? I don't know. Panthers, Sam Darnold? I don't know. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, is Brady going to retire? I don't know. Nobody knows what their quarterback situation looks like. The team that secures that position first is going to have a leg up on the other three in the division. And not that I need to say this again, but the team that wins a division obviously is the easiest path to the playoffs. Win your division, home playoff game, life is gravy, right? That's where this is. So, I am very much tempted by the idea of Will Levis. Do I think Will Levis is a better quarterback than Desmond Ridder? I don't know. I think he's more talented than Desmond Ridder. That much I can say for sure. He's definitely more talented. He's got more of a package that you want at quarterback than Desmond Ridder. 100% he does. I don't think that's deniable. But that doesn't mean one is going to be a better pro over than the other. There's no real way to figure that out now at this point in time. So, as you go through these next four games and this whole process of the offseason, you know, we can gauge talent across the board. I mean, it's not a far stretch to say typically the most talented players are drafted at the top of the draft. And the reason one guy is drafted in front of another one, especially early on, is based off of talent first. That's just the way it is. So, again, I'm not comfortable using these four games as the measuring stick for how you're going to draft. I feel like if you think you need a quarterback today, then you go get one. And maybe the Falcons' position is this, and this is probably what makes the most sense. They think Desmond Ridder is their guy, and they'll play him until they find out he's not. That may be the way they're going about doing this. And then you're automatically assuming that they're set at quarterback next year. Why? Because they already have their guy. And they'll run the string out and see how long it's going to take them to, with 100% certainty, know that he's the guy. I don't get excited about mock drafts much, but that one sort of caught my eye a little bit. I said, this could work. I feel like this could work. This feels like it could work. I think it could work. I don't know. Tough to say who I'd want right now. I'm curious to see how Desmond plays on Sunday, and we'll see. And I'll say this much, and I'll probably talk about this on Friday. Just how much excuse making we're going to do for Desmond on Monday is going to be curious. Like, there's not going to be a lot of people who want to say he played bad. Oh, it was this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. If he played bad, people should say that he played bad. It's okay to do that. It's not personal, just business, folks. Want to remind you guys that betonline.net, fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the number one online source for odds, lines, and games. You can find news and reviews of every league, including the NFL, college bowl season here as well. Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, even golf. It's all right here. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information. From live in-game betting, scores, podcasts, they've got you covered with it all. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. The game started for the Hawks last night in Orlando, and it ended the same way it started, badly. Badly. Last night was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Giving up 50 points in the first quarter of a game. And if you follow me on Twitter at Mark Zinno, I was doing military stuff all day yesterday for the most part, and even into the evening. And we were out to dinner, a bunch of military folks, just doing some professional development, and we were at a Dave and Buster's. I don't know why they picked Dave and Buster's, but that's where they were. Anyway, we had ordered the food, and I looked up to the screen on my left, and the big screen, the game's there, and I saw the end of the first quarter, and I had to do a double take. Like I shook my head, like, what is that real? 50-22 at the end of the first half, or end of it said end first, like first half. What am I thinking here? Like, how did what? That's the end of the first quarter. Oh my god! What a joke. I even tweeted it out. I'm like, is this real? What did I miss? It's embarrassing. It's bad. This team's back below 500. And what has happened is exactly what I said was going to happen. I won't break my arm too much, patting myself on the back. But since the loss of Deontay Murray, add that in with the loss of John Collins, the Hawks have given up 120, 122, 128, and 135. They've lost 5 of 6 against bad teams: the Thunder, the Nets, the Knicks, the Magic. It's bad. I don't know. This is going to unravel quickly. That's my guess at this point in time. It's going to unravel quickly. They keep losing. I'm guaranteed. I don't want to say guarantee. My guess is that Trey Young, for lack of a better term, sort of snaps and just goes haywire. It just does. It's just kind of the way I see it. I don't know. Uh, this, if they can't get this figured out quickly, then explain to me how long this is going. How they're going to feel. I mean, the Hawks are under 500 again for the first time this year, and they just got whooped up by one of the worst teams in the league. They'll travel to Charlotte on Friday to face another high-scoring team that you don't play defense against. Okay. Anybody want to bet they give up 120 to Charlotte? Anybody want to bet? Because that's kind of been the number. It's at least 120. And guess what? You ain't going to be a lot of teams in this league giving up 120. It just don't work like that. It really doesn't. So, this is a Charlotte team, by the way, not as good offensively as they were last year. They're also struggling to make threes this year. It's been ugly for the Hornets. But you just lost to the Magic, so everybody is better than you are right now. We'll see. They got to get it fixed. They got to get it fixed fast. I can't see how this thing goes in a direction that makes you feel good about anything. Anything. I mean, what exactly does anybody expect to change? They can't change the personnel at this point. Well, they could, but they're, and I hate to even bring it up because it feels like it might be a little bit much. But dare we say the idea of just blowing this whole thing up and saying, sayonara, see ya. Feels like it could be coming, right? Feels like it's a distinct possibility that it could be an option at the end of this year. Am I over dramatizing this? Maybe. They're 14 and 15. Is that the end of the world? No. I mean, are they out of this thing by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to the big picture and making the playoffs? No. I mean, they're 2 games out of the 5 seed. Make of that what you will. 3 games out of the 4 seed. They just ain't playing a good brand of basketball right now. Their point differential is now in the negative, and that's come in the last 4 or 5 games. when they've been getting lit up nonstop. And you're starting to see good teams round into form a little bit. Miami's won 6-10. They're starting to climb back up. You know, we'll see. Even the Knicks are better. They've won 6 out of 10 too. They're back above 500. They've won 5 in a row, the Knicks. So look out, folks. This could get ugly, and it could get ugly fast. But until Deontay Murray and John Collins get back, what do we expect to see that's any different? Outside of DeAndre Hunter, those are the two best defenders on the floor. I mean, Clint Capela's a solid rim protector, yes, but I call him a great defender, no. But does his job at the rim. That's what he gets paid to do. But they need something fast because it is ugly ugly. What's not ugly is Built Bar Puffs. They're delicious. If you haven't tried them, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And they've got a brand new flavor, delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built Bar has done it again. Your new favorite flavor, cookie dough chunk puffs. It's a light and chewy texture. They got real chunks of cookie dough in it, covered in 100% real chocolate. And here's the best part about Built Bars, guys: only 160 calories, 15 whopping grams of protein. Cookie dough chunk puffs are the perfect snack that you are looking for, whether it's in between meals, on the go. Maybe it's late in the afternoon. You need a little pick me up snack. Maybe it's late at night and you want to put something in your belly, but you don't feel like, eating something heavy. It's going to make you feel fat. Grab the Built Puffs bar, cookie dough chunk, because it's delicious. Go to built.com, snag a box for yourself, grab one for the family, put one in the office. Heck, hide them, keep them away from everybody else. Why not? Go to built.com, use the promo code locked on 15, and you'll get 15% off your first order. Again, use promo code locked on 15 to get 15% off their first order of Built Bar Puffs. All right. I want to throw something out there about the Braves to you guys and see what you think, because it's curious to me that we're not having more of this discussion. But first, it's time for a Shovel of Wisdom.
Brace yourselves, because it's time for the Shovel of Wisdom.
Yeah, you know how we do it every day. We have to reward somebody for saying or doing something stupid. You can do so on my Twitter account at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno, and whack them with a shovel of wisdom. Right upside the head, just use that hashtag shovel of wisdom. And today my shovel goes to Micah Parsons. What on earth Micah Parsons have done? Well, well, Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys, they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. 1 week from Sunday, or from Saturday, I should say, will be Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve that day, the first place and number one overall seed currently in the NFC, Philadelphia Eagles at 12-1, will travel to Dallas to face the second place NFC East team and the team tied for the 2 seed in the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas on Christmas Eve. Pretty big matchup, to say the least. Obviously, Philadelphia won the first one. That was against Cooper Rush. This one will be against Dak Prescott. But edge rusher Micah Parsons decided to take some jabs at the guy he's playing in 2 weeks. He did it on the Von Miller podcast called the Von Cast. Parsons asked, when you look at the Eagles team, is it Hurts or the team? When Miller responded, I think it's a little bit of both, man, Parsons said, it's system and team. Quote, I'm not trying to make no enemies. I just love the game so much. I understand it so much. When things are off, I just can't hold it in. I almost got to say something. Okay. Bad. Bro, bad. Bad. You do not need to give one of your arch rivals any extra bulletin board material as you go into the biggest game of the season. That's stupid, man. Don't do that. You're hurting your teammates and yourself. That's bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. But he did it. And trust me, the Eagles were asked to respond. Many of them just said, hey, worry about yourself. Eagles said, worry about the Bears this week. Micah should worry about his game. And then he went on to say, I don't know who the bleep they're playing. Just worry about who you got this week. Those are some of the comments from Eagles players in reference to what Parsons said. Trust me, they're going to use all that motivation and more. And that's going to be played all week long after Sunday. Good job, Michael Parsons. Not. Okay, good job is what Alex Anthopoulos has done in continuing to reconstruct this Braves roster. Reconstruct's not the right word. Continue to add to this Braves roster. By the way, as of the time of this recording, we still have no more answers on that guy, Dansby Swanson. Don't know what he's doing. Don't know what he's doing. But just remember, folks, 11 years for Trey Turner, 11 years for Xander Bogaerts, 13 years for Carlos Correa, and the Braves are haggling over that 6th year in the contract. Shame on them. That's all I got to say. Shame on them. Because now Dansby's agent gets to go, yeah, I'm not taking anything less than 8 years, period. So when those three guys got double-digit years, 11, 11, and 13, yeah, Dansby should ask for 8. And he should get 8. And somebody's going to give it to him. Likely not going to be the Braves, but somebody's going to give it to him. Okay. Beyond that, as you start to look at this lineup, and let's just assume Dansby is gone, and we start to put the lineup together. And I was going back and forth with a couple of people on Twitter because I thought some of this stuff was really telling about when you look at this lineup, where they are and what's the best way to construct it. Well, there was one thing that sort of stood out to me when you put the lineup together. And I don't listen, I'm subscribed to that lefty, righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty BS that managers do. But if I asked 50 Braves fans to write down the Braves lineup, I feel at least like 49 of them would all have Ronald Acuna at the top. And I'll ask the question, isn't it time to get Ronald Acuna out of that leadoff spot? No, you can't do that. No, he's on that. Yeah, you can. You can. And it would not be a bad decision at all. Take a little bit of pressure off him at the top of the lineup. Get guys on in front of him. Get a little protection in his first at bat. And you don't really get a lot of protection from the bottom of the lineup, right? And you absolutely can take him out of the opening line, the opening lineup, the top spot in the lineup. Put Michael Harris there, and then put Acuna. What's the big deal? Let Acuna bat in front of Olsen, who's going to bat in front of, especially if Dansby is gone, definitely move Acuna to the second spot. Why wouldn't you? You have a built-in leadoff hitter in Michael Harris. It just makes sense to move Acuna down. I mean, Aaron just hit 62 home runs from batting second. Not suggesting Ronald Acuna is going to hit 62 home runs, but you get my point. Plain and simple. It is a much better spot, I think, for him. And for a guy who struggled last year, probably something to take a little bit of pressure off him this year. I don't think it's that far gone, of a solution to a problem that the Braves have in front of them. But you could easily do that. You could easily go Harris, Acuna, and then Olsen and Riley. What's wrong with that? I don't care about the righty lefty thing that managers just decide to overthink. But you would have lefty righty if you did Harris, Acuna, Olsen, and then Riley. And then whatever you want to do after that, I don't care. I genuinely don't. Even though, again, if you wanted to keep playing that lefty righty game, let me just kind of look down the names again to refresh my memory here. Hell, I could put Ozzie Albies in the 5 spot. I mean, he's a righty, but so what? I don't think he's a bad guy there at all. What do I know? But still, well, he's a switch hitter, Albies. That's right. So you can bat lefty. There you go. And then you can find another righty behind him. You see how this works? This ends up working out in your favor all the way. And then it's well, what's Sean Murphy? We have to get Sean Murphy in the lineup now too, right? Um, he's a righty. Okay. Do you want to bat him sixth? I'm okay with that. That works. So if you go Harris, Acuna, Olson, Riley, Albies, Murphy, and then figure out what you're doing at the other two spots. Works for me. Time to get Acuna out of the leadoff spot. Genuinely think it's time. It's also time for you guys to listen to Locked On Falcons and my good buddy Aaron Freeman. See, I remembered his name that time. Locked On Falcons, Aaron Freeman. Make that your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, biggest stories of the day, plus instant reaction, big game recaps, and the take of the day. It's available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. That'll wrap up the Thursday edition. Back tomorrow for a Friday show, including some football picks for the weekend. Bowl season underway. Make sure you guys keep it locked right here to A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On ATL. I'm at Mark Zinno. You guys have a wonderful Thursday. Don't take any crap from anybody. See ya.